this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, Goku, Vegeta, and future Trunks have returned to the present timeline after having their asses collectively kicked by the seemingly immortal Zamas and the mysterious Black. After gorging on some sensu beans, they are visited by the Supreme Kai, the Kaioshin of Universe 7, Beerus, and Whis. And Whis has some massive speculation as to who Zamas and Black really are. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in this week's episode of DBS, we might have finally learned the true identities of Zamas and Black. So let's just go ahead and talk about that. First and foremost, Zamas. It's pretty much the same character that we've always known. In fact, it's heavily implied that the Zamas that we've seen in the entire series has always been the same one. He's just sort of been traveling through time. And if the preview for this episode didn't give it away enough, apparently he used the Super Dragon Balls to become immortal. However, there's a little bit more to this whole Super Dragon Ball thing. It looks like he might have also used those to create Goku Black. According to Whis, Zamas actually used the power of the Super Dragon Balls to create an evil clone of Goku. Why does he still have ki that is very similar to Zamas? Maybe there's a connection here that we're not realizing quite yet. Maybe it has to do with Gawas, the current Kaioshin of Universe 10. It is very evident, of course, that both Zamas and Black are wearing his Potara earrings, so there is some sort of clear connection there. What is interesting about this is now that we have all of the big gods of Universe 7 involved, they're actually going to confront Zamas about all of this, which I'm sure is going to lead to a big confrontation, and my guess is going to be the death of Gawas, which is heavily implied in this episode. You get to see that Zamas is probably going to poison him with his tea, which makes sense because that's apparently all that Gawas does is watch TV and drink tea. Goku and his friends are going to have to act fast. The future is in Strugglesville. Will Maya and Yajirobe be able to hold down the fort, or will Zamas and Black destroy all of humanity? We'll have to find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? Zamas is such a total dickhead to Zuno in this episode. It was very evident that he was basically going to bully him into getting all of his answers, but it does sort of diminish the character of Zuno just a little bit. Then again, he's just a dude who knows a lot of stuff. He's probably not a very good fighter. That and the fact that Zamas is something of an apprentice when it comes to his abilities to fuck shit up. I do think it is very interesting that he's using the Super Dragon Balls, the fact that this is Dragon Ball Super after all, and they're trying to make them a much important part of the series. It is kind of crazy that we're already moving right to them again after they were used at the end of the tournament arc. And it is a little bit of an ass pull that he was able to get all of this information, but then again, he is a god, so I'm sure he has certain privileges about where he can go. Not to mention, it makes sense why he would be able to get these wishes so quick, because he has the time rings. It would be really easy for him to actually just make a wish, use the time ring again, go into the future, and make another wish. The thing is, though, they do bring up the fact that Goku Black uses a time ring, and apparently this is something which can only be used by a Kaioshin. My guess is that there's the possibility that Goku Black is actually created from the corpse of Gawas. This way, he can actually use his time ring. But there's still a lot of mystery around Goku Black. Why is he so obsessed with absorbing the power of people, kind of like Cell or Majin Buu? It's still very mysterious, and I still think there's going to be a lot more to his origin than just wishing him with the Super Dragon Balls. I mean, this really is all speculation from Whis. It's not the clear-cut answer, and we're probably going to get more of that in the next episode of the series, and frankly, I really just can't wait to see that. Another thing that I didn't even really think about until I was watching this episode is the fact that if Gawas is actually killed by Zamas, that means that the God of Destruction of Universe 10 supposedly is going to be killed. However, when he becomes the brand new Kaioshin when the other one dies, does that mean he's connected to the God of Destruction anymore? Is there going to be a brand new God of Destruction? Is that even going to come into play into this arc whatsoever? I mean, we're getting in all sort of time travel and parallel dimensions in this arc that things are frankly just starting to get insane. However, I am really excited to see where this story is going to be going and how they're going to be be able to tackle Zamas, who is an immortal, and then of course the Super Saiyan Rose abilities. Methinks there's going to be some new secret techniques which are going to be showing up soon, and it's only a matter of time before we see them in Dragon Ball Super. So honestly, I thought this was a pretty nice episode. Some downtime after a really intense battle, and starting to get a little bit more information about the true identities of Zamas and Black and where they came from. This was a necessary evil kind of episode, and it still had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. There also happened to be some funny moments, like Goku actually being competently smart in this episode, and then being him really stupid again when you realize that he actually left the senzu beans in the bathroom when he was on the crapper. That being said, this was still a pretty damn good episode of Dragon Ball Super, answering some questions and bringing up a couple more, which I'm sure will all be revealed in the next couple of episodes. So I'm going to give this episode right here a 4 out of 5, a super revealing episode of Dragon Ball Super, yet still the information is not 100% confirmed, which of course is going to get people to sit down and watch the next episode of the series. Great episode. Check it out, Dragon Ball fans. If any of you did watch this week's episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you think that Whis is pretty accurate about his theory about the use of the Super Dragon Balls? Is there a little bit more to the creation of Black? Why is his ki so similar to Zamas's? And what do you guys want to see from the rest of this arc of Dragon Ball Super? Please tell me in the comment section below. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this review. I truly appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. Make sure to smash that like button and check us out on social media. We also have a weekly podcast show. It's kind of amazing. It's called The Powerful Nerdcast. Make sure to check out the link for the most latest episode in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby.